Good morning. On today's Healthier You, thought we would discuss some ways for some healthy cooking techniques. Not only do we need to consider choosing healthier foods in our life, but we also need to find different ways to cook them. So, thought we would talk about a couple of tips. Um, if you learn how to prepare and cook meals at home, so that you have better control over your nutritional content of the food you eat. It can also help you save money. You want to consider not smothering them in flour, salt, and fat, but finding some better cooking techniques. One way is to bake your foods. Cook foods slowly in dry heat like an oven. Blanch them briefly. The food, about 30 seconds, should be plunged into ice water to stop the cooking. This is really good for foods that you want to have that bit of crisp, almost raw crunch for. And there are some reasons why you might want to do that. Braising your food, and that is cooking food using both dry heat and wet heat from liquid, like in the oven or even on your stove top. Broiling things, cooking directly under a heat source at high temps. But the one thing you want to remember is if you are broiling things, do not use glass if you're broiling. Pyrex, do not use that. Do not use parchment paper. That will burn. Sometimes it'll even cause a fire. Do not use oil if you're broiling things. You want to be careful with those things. Grilling is exceptionally good. And yes, even though they tell you that it's not good because of the black char or whatever, you can grill without charring your food. Poaching food is good by immersing food in simmering water like liquids, broth, or even wine. Roasting. That is cooking your meats and whatnot, and fruits, vegetables, uncovered in the oven. Saute them. Saute them in a pan over with just a little bit of liquid. The suggestion is, instead of using oil, is to use vegetable stock, fruit juice, a little bit of wine, or even water. Yes, you can fry your eggs in water. Try it. You'll find that you may like it better than in fats. Steam, steaming your foods is good. That's going to also help the food to retain more of the shape, texture, and flavor. Stir frying, that is always great, stir frying. Some of the other things is, at MD Anderson, they did a research into 17 different ways to have healthier, more nutritious meal. And some of the ways that they had talked about were, instead of eating out, doing takeout, cooking at home. Some of the things that you want to do is you do want to avoid pan frying because that actually causes carcinogens to form in your food. And most people tend to fry in olive oil, and olive oil's heating point is only 350, which most deep frying is at a higher temp than that, so you want to consider using a different oil. So boil, steam your food. Make sure that you're measuring your food for those healthy tips, those kind of things. Keep out as much sugar as you can. Add more vegetables and fruits to your foods, especially vegetables. Those are good for you. Be careful if you are using canned vegetables and fruits. Many times canned fruits are in a heavy syrup. You probably want to choose those that are in fruit juice or light syrup. You can even rinse. If you do have fruits in heavy syrup, you can rinse the heavy syrup, rinse the fruit off. So that might help you a little bit better with those kind of things. You want to rinse your canned vegetables. Many times they are really high in salt to preserve, so try to go for the no salt or low salt versions if you can. And as always, they tell you want to replace white rice with brown rice. But I am going to tell you, if you do want to follow a more high protein, some of the proteins, the rices that have a higher protein source are like jasmine rice and white basmati rice. So consider using that instead. You want to flavor with herbs, spices, onions, garlic, those kind of things, and even citrus. Consider using citrus as a way to change some flavors in your food as well. Reduce those salts as always. Those are just a couple that were listed. You want to remember to use a large variety of healthy foods. You want to try to hit all 5 food groups if possible. And if you have a favorite recipe, look at that recipe. If it's really high in salt, high in sugar, high in oil, those unhealthy fats, consider ways to reduce the fat, reduce the amount of salt. I'm one of those people, I would rather have the food unsalted and let me salt it at the table. So I do make sure that I do that. Some of the other things you want to consider are to make a menu. Make a list of what you're going to get, at the store. Those are going to help you save money because you're not just grabbing things willy-nilly. Some of the other things are you want to keep in mind to use seasonal vegetables and fruit. Add some nuts and seeds if you're able to. If you have diverticulitis, avoid the nuts and seeds. So you want to also keep an idea of making sure that your pantry is stocked with quick, easy things that you can cook if possible, that are easier. I do like pasta every once in a while. I do purchase some pasta and then I season it up. Lots of times with Italian dressing and different things, fruits, vegetables, those kind of thing in them. You want to make sure you want to choose, they tell you choose lower fat versions of milk, dairy, cheeses, those kind of things. And that is depending on if you are looking to lose more weight. But if you're looking for just a healthier diet, yes, do that. Sometimes a lot of experts have said if you get the higher fat, like cottage cheeses, you're going to be more satisfied for longer. And I don't know if you have kept up with things that are going on today, but there is a big bunch of recipes that are made with cottage cheese that you wouldn't normally eat. And some of them are quite delicious, so consider that. You want to choose leaner cuts of meat as well as chicken. Nowadays you can get skinless chicken thighs, chicken breasts, those kind of things. So consider those things. You want to limit your fast food chips, crackers, those kind of things, unless they're a healthier thing. You want to choose some things that are healthier fats for you. Choose avocado oils are a little bit healthier for you than canola. has a higher heat set point, so you can cook a lot of things in it. You can also use avocado in a lot of things. I love avocado. So you also, like I said, cook in those liquids instead of using oils. You know, cook in um, broth, bone broth, um, lemon juice, fruit juices, vinegars, waters instead of the oils. You want to use pestos, salsas, vinegars in place of sour creams and those buttery, creamy sauces. It's okay every once in a while to have it, but remember, moderation. They do tell you to use a lot of non-stick cookware. You have to be careful with non-stick cookware because there is a theory out there that it causes dementia. So just go with what you feel is okay for you. Brown your vegetables by pan frying them. Um, and lots of times you can actually cook them in the microwave first and then crisp them under a grill. Those kind of things, that's going to help retain the nutrients. You want to scrub your vegetables instead of peeling them. There are times that I do not want peels on my potatoes, so yes, I will peel them. They always tell you the most nutrients are on the peel. As a child, I was convinced that the most nutrients were in the dirt that was on the peel, but that's not so. So keep those in mind. You can add certain things like a little splash of olive oil, vinegar, lemon juice, lime juice, orange juice, those kind of things. That's going to enhance the taste of that food instead of salt. You do want to choose fresh, frozen vegetables over canned if you can. You want to limit those salty processed meats. Processed meat you want to try to eliminate as much as possible. I think those are some things. They always tell you to avoid processed foods like flavored pastas. You can flavor up pastas with a lot of seasonings, a lot of juices, some lighter versions of dressing salads, those kind of things. And spice those up, add the herbs and flavors, those kind of things. Fresh herbs, you want to make sure if you're cooking with them, you add them at the last minute when you're cooking. Because they are very fragile and delicate, so the flavor won't work well if you start cooking with them right away. Dried herbs you can use, they're a little more strongly flavored, so you want to keep in mind that 1 teaspoon of dried normally equals 4 teaspoons of fresh herbs. You want to try some different things for putting into your stir fries, like coriander, ginger, chilies, lemongrass, those kind of things. You want a healthier sandwich. Some of the things they tell you to do is to switch your wholemeal to a whole grain bread. Switch your white bread for a whole meal or a whole grain bread. Include a lot of extra vegetables, salad fillings as possible. Replace butter with avocado, nut spreads, hummus or margarine spreads from, those kind of things. I stay away from margarine. Margarine is one molecule away from plastic. And as a child, my mother and I went through a tour of a margarine factory, and some of the oils that they used were rancid, and they would cover it up with the flavoring and the coloring to make it more palatable. So, use those things in moderation. Choose reduced fat, cheese, mayonnaise when you can, instead of processed meats. You want to consider trying lean chicken, canned tuna, salmon, those kind of things. Have toasted sandwiches with baked beans. I've never had that. I'm assuming they want you to make a sandwich with baked beans. I don't know. So those are a few ideas to help you change things up to where you're eating things a little healthier. And yeah, that is it for today's Healthier You. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you got a little more information from it and gave you a few more ideas. And remember, I'll see you again soon. Remember to be a little kinder to yourself, be kind to one another, and get out there and enjoy the great sunshine that we're having these days. See you soon. Bye.